Negative. That's
so
not a
normal
negative.
and natural.
That is not a negative.
You get all of your nutrients and
Yeah, like
Hey man,
fibers
that is not a
Nick,
negative.
for
Like,
munching the carpage.
hmm,
Peace to the family.
that is not a negative. Please don't
This is
talk like
another
that.
edition of Carpet Munching TV.
Oh my gosh.
We are the carpet munchers.
We are the Carpet Munchers Express. This is the Carpet Munching Express.
Oh no. But y'all know what time it is, man. It's these divine masculine energy builds for the family. This is the Chakra Nova podcast. We at episode 17, man. That's
That's my number.
hey,
That's my
in my
number.
name I got 17 letters, so it's a special one. It's been a special day for me. But
Congratulations, Hood Mister.
yes, that's right. Congrats on the Badine.
mhm.
The union. The completion of the union.
And my thing is I'm gonna do this a lot. I think I'll probably get married. I think like getting married shouldn't be like one thing.
I think you should do it every year.
I think you should just do it randomly. Like you should just do it. Like let's get married.
You get the impulse. Let's just go.
Let's just get married. Like let's get married again. Like let's let the world know that I'm in fucking love, fam, and it's dope.
Yep.
Congratulations to everybody that get to witness me and my wife's love. That's what I'm gonna start saying to people when they tell me congratulations, because I'm tired of saying, "Oh, thank you."
Bask in the glory.
I thought I was the only one that hated affection. That nigga hates affection from people.
I do, man. Try to introduce yourself, and I'm gonna go look into that, Prime. But say hi to.
Peace. Prime Harmonic, and I guess I'm the eldest of the group, but I'm still a kid at heart, and I like my practical spirituality and energy work, and that's what I'm here for, to have a good time and help everybody that I can to have a good time while exploring their spirituality.
I think like getting married shouldn't be like one. It sounded good on my end.
All right.
Are we live already?
Yeah, we're live.
I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff Elijah. Yeah, just young spiritual being out here. Trying to be my best self. Moments out here, just showing gratitude and thankfulness. Just happy to be here. Happy for the platform. Check me out on Instagram at Elijah144 and Elijah Green 144 as well. Run a cannabis delivery service. Hit me up if you're interested in any apparel. Just want to know about what I do or support me at all. Thanks for the platform and the support so far as well. And yeah, thanks again. Happy to be here.
Peace. This is Sacred Serpent. I am just happy to be here, just like everybody else. I hope y'all had a good week. We got a nice trigger happy show today. I am absolutely looking forward to it, and I'm just like I said, happy to be here. Thanks for having us. Peace.
For the one time, I'm gonna do the pull up on me video. So my homeboys on the live, on the chat, y'all not gonna see it, but people on the YouTube, they'll be able to see it. So pull up on us.
What's good though? I'm about to go jump. Pull up on me. Pull up on me. Pull up on me.
Oh man, so I guess my week has been very, very interesting because I was working hard on a whole bunch of different shit, doing a whole bunch of different type of energy stuff and whatever the case may be. And everything worked out good, and I'm just like, okay, who do I have to kill? Like, who is working out in my benefit? Like, I know somebody, a hitman is going to knock on my door at a certain point. Like, hey, here, Barack Obama, George Bush, you know, Obama, Bin Laden, he's still alive. So you're going to have to kill all three of them. All the blessings that we been giving you, little nigga. You ain't think that you was going to have to murk people? But yeah, I've been feeling like the confessions of a hitman for all these blessings that I've been receiving this week. But it's the balance of it all. And those are just jokes. I'm not going to murk nobody. But yes, man, it feels good to have y'all back. I feel like we have some interesting conversation, and of course people are going to be triggered by what we say, but instead of being triggered, come join us. And if you ain't scared, Sacred Serpent 823 on Instagram, we offer people to join us, but you know, Sacred, you either not checking your message requests or these people out here squared, man.
Yeah, they out here squared because my joint is always on Instagram while we live. So
okay,
they out here squared. We ain't mad.
Don't be squared. Don't be squared, and don't be triggered.
No judgment.
All right. So
I'd rather be triggered and come on the show and let us know why you triggered.
Be triggered. Argue with us. Tell us why we're wrong. But I'm gonna go ahead and get some music playing. But before I get the music playing, I'm gonna set this question because there's Woo in the background.
Peace, Woo.
Peace.
What's really good, Woo?
How y'all doing?
Man, we just
glad it wasn't Candyman, man. Shit.
He is like the Candyman. What up, Woo?
Now the next time, Jeff, I need two Tatalicious is in the background, my guy.
Yes,
going back and forth.
That's what Woo was supposed to do anyway. Woo was supposed to be back there with Tata.
Hey, y'all ain't telling me that.
Come on, man. We shouldn't have to tell you that. It's telekinesis. Telekinesis.
I'm telling you now. Like she.
Let this be the last time.
Like it's a boxing match. She walking through, you know, holding the card. But I digress.
You can't be back there just checking the stats all day. You know what I'm saying?
Checking y'all bank accounts and things of that nature. Y'all gonna have to start spending some of that money on these ladies out here, man. We need some visuals. Y'all the young, fly, and fresh ones, man. I'm just saying, y'all gotta represent, man. I'm just saying.
Y'all gotta do it for the brothers that can.
See? Say less, you know? No, but in relation to this spiritual journey, man, it has been a lot of BS that, man, I wish I knew now what I wish I knew then what I know now. I would have never went into that strip club. I would have never went to that trap house. I would have opened up some Naeem Akbar books. I would have got into some spirituality, you know. But instead, I was in the trap house listening to Gucci Mane. Oh, you scared me. Oh, I said Gucci Mane, and I thought it was over for me, man. I was
you almost got hit by a car. You was in traffic. You forgot you were in traffic. You forgot you were in traffic.
I'm disorientated, y'all. Okay. No, but I've been so distracted and so disrupted that I feel like temptations could have blocked me from my spiritual purpose. So in reference to y'all and y'all journey, have y'all been through any type situations or know of people who've been through type situations where it's like that negative energy? And let's be real out here, because a lot of people will say, you know, it's just a random life. You know, you could just do whatever you want to do and live how you want to live and just be what you want to be. Man, I done grew up to a point that, no, it's a right way to do stuff out here in these streets, and it's a wrong way to do things out here in these streets. And not to say that it's a right and a wrong for life, but integrity, if you're doing wrong, is way more solid than just working at a job and being a complete fuck up, right? So how do your temptations derail you from your purpose? Or do y'all the type, am I talking to a bunch of people who just dive deep into the tatalicious waves of sensuality and say, forget it all?
Tatalicious waves. Like, I feel like there's too many references to tatalicious. But go ahead, Prom.
I've fallen victim to temptation plenty of times, and it's almost like a rite of passage, you know. Like growing up, man, I've messed up. I messed up, and I ain't gonna start because I don't know who watching this, but let's just say, let's just say that
Womp, womp,
I should have
womp.
completely ended some relationships before starting others. Let me just say it that way. And I learned honor. I would say I learned honor from learning to resist temptation because, you know, I could chalk it up to saying it was the heat of the moment or this or that. But every time I had to explain myself, I just sounded so stupid. I just sounded so stupid trying to explain myself. I was like, man, this is stupid. Right. And as I got older, I just said, all right, I gotta stop. I gotta stop. And if I'm going to be under temptation, then I have to ask myself, why am I tempted? And if I'm tempted because of something I feel I'm lacking, then I need to be able to explain that to the one I'm with. So yeah, man, I've been derailed by temptation, but I use it as an experience to learn how to stay on track because I got tired of hurting people for stupid stuff. Yeah.
Shout out to maturity one time. I think like in the spiritual journey, being mature, being like, I don't want to kick it and do all of that shit is really elevation because a lot of times people ain't doing it because they can't. If you give them the opportunity, they front and center with the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But when you have the opportunity and you like, you know what? I'm going to chill. You know you mature and you know you leveled up because you know ain't nothing going to stop you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I definitely like had goals in mind where like maybe like I started like a new job and I saw like myself like doing something, moving up or something like that. Um, and just personal goals as well. But like maybe like I let some I let that like other maybe outside people kind of like derail me in certain ways. I got like too comfortable with folk or just kind of didn't focus so much on the goal. Like maybe like instead of just focusing on what I should be doing, like I wanted to go meet up with some girls. It's like got lustful instead and just kind of at the same time I think like certain things happen for a reason, and I went through those things to learn. But at the same time, like I know like I've let temptations and kind of trying to getting along with folk, wanting to get along with certain folk. Has like got me knocked off of like what the purpose should have been, and then trying to like kind of be cool with people who really not that you don't got you can be cool with people, but like don't let people distract you from what the purpose is, what the goal is. It's temptation, so it's distractions.
I keep it all the way a buck. Like temptation, I used to be a temptation hound. Like I just, anything that was immediate and pleasurable at the same time was exactly where it was at. Like I just didn't care. Like I guess you get to a point. I know I got to a point where it was just like the immediate gratification for something that I followed through with, impulsively for that instant gratification. Like that thing never fulfilled me. So I guess my evolution has come with understanding that there's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things. For me, I wholeheartedly agree with Hood and his dissertation. Like I think integrity and being integral, is important, because there's freedom in that, right? There's freedom in knowing you are exactly who you say you are and being exactly who you say you are, right?
Yeah.
But temptation is beautiful for the moment. And I think that's what you see when, people, love the things that they are not supposed to have. Like, that is exactly how it's supposed to go. So, discipline and integrity, right? And your approach to whatever it is that you are searching for, whatever it is that you are trying to grab, right? Whatever it is you are trying to gain. There is way more fulfillment in that thing when you do it according to yourself and you do it right for yourself, right? As opposed to doing it because everybody else is doing it, or as opposed to doing it because you can do it.
That's a lot for like men though, right? Like, men for the most part don't have a clue on what they want. Hey bro, I got 2 sons. They masculine and they feminine. Not like they feminine like, hey, but they more like drawers and singers. My other sons want to fight. If I just do it once, all you a boy, so all of y'all gonna have to fight. I'm doing a disservice or injustice to the formulation for my kids. They'd be like, all right, I know we go straight off the gun, like straight off the starter pistol, start running, right? But where are you going? Mm-hmm. And as a young man, if you can say, all right, I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna chill, and I'm gonna figure out what I like in your 20s, you're set, bro.
Yeah.
But if you can't say that and do that, because trust me, if you broke now, that's nobody gonna fault you for that shit. When you broke in your 30s, it get a little sketchy, a little like what you're doing. But right now, you have the ability to figure it out. And I don't think men ever give themselves the chance or ability to say, I want to be an artist. You could be an artist. You could be the most famous painter in the world, right? And it's like, or at least make hella change, commissioning your paintings and things of that nature. But it's like, how many black men give themselves a chance to say, I'm an artist, I'm a curator, I'm a museum, I work for a museum, I freelance, I'm an intern, I work at a club under a jazz musician, I'm an apprentice because I want to be a jazz musician. You know, I work here, I make this amount, and I'm this much of a slave. You know what I'm saying? And it hurts, right? And another thing, like when I do my events, and the one dude told me, he like, man, ain't too many people like you. I'm like, what you mean? He say, most black men, they either weird or they just a part of the system. Wow. And you kind of weird, and but you not weird with it. You trying to take care of your business, like, you know what I'm saying, like, but you in an event with a whole bunch of white ladies. Yeah. Like I'm hustling trying to get it with white girls and shit like that. Like I'm in that neck of the woods and shit, you know? And it's like, that's how my life has been, being an individual. But I think it's hard for black men to become individuals because everything that they say you should have as a young black man ain't even for you.
Yep.
Right? And so when you get it, you're like, damn, I ain't even want that. But how many times as black men we go to the club, get pissy drunk, spend all of our money, feel like shit on Sunday, and do the same shit next weekend? So we don't know what we want. Meaning that we shouldn't have, if we ain't trying to be club owners, what the fuck we doing at a club? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Straight consumers, straight vulture food, right? Mm-hmm. $3,500 to skip the line. To skip the line, you get in, you gotta buy a bottle, that's $3.75, but I'm with my homeboys, so I'm buying 7 bottles. Right? Damn. I done spent $10,000 at this club tonight. I spent $10,000 at this club tonight because I do not know who I am, Prime. Because I do not know who I am as a soul, and they told me if I'm going to be a black man, I got to spend $10,000 at this club tonight. We might not understand that, but I'm telling you, that's the pressures of being a black man today going out. If you ain't spending at least a Iraqi, your ass is at home playing video games on goddamn Twitch, watching DJ Academic videos. Wow. But if you want to be out here and functioning, trying to get some love going on, you got to have money.
Yep.
See, I see it every day, and yeah, it's like people who I know, like they just feel like, and I mean, like me to a degree. You know,
Thank you.
I felt like I just needed to like kind of catch up with people. So like you do things kind of outside yourself, not because it's necessarily what you necessarily want to do, but just so you can kind of fit in with everybody. But yeah, like it's still like what's really going on. Like all men are really just out here kind of competing in a rat race, and not really doing what really fills in just to keep up.
Powerful. That rat race, Ralphie Pagan. You need to listen to that.
Yeah,
that's probably one of the best songs that you ever gonna hear in your life, man. Turn on that Ralphie Pagan rat race right there. You would go to a whole different level. I'm telling you,
right and exact.
Man, he knew what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm. He was in it. That's somebody who was speaking about being in it.
I mean, the rat race, though, right? That's a crazy way to frame it, but in reality, it's like they do tests and experiments on rats, and then what they conclude from the rats, they tell us how human beings is. Can y'all make that make sense for me? They don't have the wherewithal. It's not even legal or integrity to do tests on an active working pineal gland. Think about that. Only time they can test the pineal gland is after a person is transitioned. How much information are they going to retrieve from a deceased person's pineal gland? Maybe some, but not a working, observable pineal gland, and it's working. Because I'll tell you something about the pineal gland and its secretions. It only operates in complete and total darkness. So once they bring their little lights and microscopes and start the pineal saying, I ain't about to do a damn thing. That's why they can't test us. So they test rats and then be like, well, the rat is acting like this. And then you say we in a rat race. That means you in a dome of reality, and they putting you in this little maze and you running around it, not knowing that you in a controlled experiment.
Behavioral science.
Man, social engineering.
Yep. That's how they came up with the idea for prison.
That's how they came up to the idea for cities.
Yeah. Projects.
It
was like literally a rat project.
Shout out to Killer Priest. That's one of my favorite tunes.
Drag on. Why you think you call it a project? Are we an experiment? Oh man.
But yeah, it takes some courage to break out of that. Like I told you on the pregame, like I stopped going to work about 5 years ago. But I still show up there. That's right. Crazy. I show up there and I have the most fun I can have in the day. I try to do the best that I can to make myself feel good. And I stop stressing stuff that's beyond my control. It's almost like, I know I'm dating myself, but it's like that movie Office Space, where that guy got hypnotized and he didn't feel like he was working no more, but he was still at work. That's how I go to work, man. And it's like, but I'm still planning to even, exit that, because I want to spend more time with my family, and I want to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, which, right now is kind of being eclipsed by my schedule. So I'm making moves, I'm making plans to get out of that. Whether it happens sooner or later, whatever. Do I want it to happen sooner? Yeah. But yeah, man, it's how do you convince somebody that there's better outside of the rat maze without, like that guy said, looking like you too crazy, right? Or looking like you stupid or whatever. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just stopped trying to convince mofos and I just try and live it. You know what I'm saying?
It's always a certain type of pleasure and a certain level of comfort that we're used to. Creature comforts, I think, is the concept that we're dealing with. In reality, the reality is that whatever happens, you're going to be okay. But if your comforts are taken away, one would say, oh God, I'm not going to be in the best position for myself and for my family. And ultimately, these are self-critiques and self-judgments. Because when it comes to healing, when it comes to knowledge, when it comes to engineering, very rarely is a person saying, well, what do you look like today? Right? Do you know the mathematical function or not? Right? And it's like everything that you manage to manifest because of your skill, right, is like more important than the skill that it took to manifest. So to downgrade and to downsize is not a knock on you per se, unless internally you feel like shit, I gotta represent how I'm representing. I gotta live how I gotta live out here. And that's really the problem. That's the issue or the block in essence of you kind of just be like, fuck it. And most people ain't gonna say that because, like, this generation, y'all generation, like my father-in-law, my mom, my mother-in-law, and all that, like y'all work so hard from when they say pull it from your bootstraps. Y'all are the generation that actually pulled yourselves up from your bootstraps. Ain't nobody really give y'all shit. Y'all had to show up 40 hours a week, on time, not miss a day, get good grades, like never ever got a break, right? And so when you have what you have, it's like, shit, I work for this. But the issue that I see with this generation, and not you per se, but y'all generation is living in y'all houses, not doing a damn thing while the world burns to shit. And it's like, I made this house. At this point, fam, who gives a fuck? Can you rent out a couple of rooms for us? Because we is on our ass out here. Rent is 3 stacks and rising in San Diego. It's $2,500 in New York City. Eviction moratoriums. It's like, damn, is anybody going to throw a goddamn
affordable
like, is somebody going to do something for us? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just think that it's so much that your generation, I'm definitely not talking about you. I'm just talking
about me. It's cool.
No, it's because you doing the work. You here building with us. You take time out of your busy day to just come and talk to us, right? So how many other OGs like you in your age range is talking to people in their 20s and 30s? Right. They really just saying fuck you, and you gotta get it like I got it, and honestly, we need help. Like, you know what I'm saying? We need assistance, especially men, especially black men, because there's so much that we don't know about our families, about our women, about our lives, that it would sure help to get some quality advice. And that's why fucking Kevin Samuels is the most important black man in the fucking internet sphere, because he is the only person that is providing advice. Now, you may not like the advice, you may hate the advice, but his intentions are pure in the fact of, you ask a question, I'll give you an answer. Yeah. That's what we need. We don't need this shit, and I'm gonna show people my divine masculine energy, and it's damn near irresistible. And I'm saying Guru, irresistible. Ayana Van Zant, irresistible. It's not a young man thing. It's a mature spiritual thing, and it's necessary. And you don't have to change your life. It was just more of a mindset of, let me help some motherfuckers today. It's a simple thing. Like, let me help these young stupid motherfuckers out today. Give them some wisdom, give them some advice, because they is clueless out here, don't know left from right. And let me come up with a breathing technique for these dumb mugs.
It's for myself first, man. But it's like I can only chalk that up to my family. My family values youth. Like I can't think of anybody in my family that did not look out for the next coming generation, did not try to provide for them, did not try to uplift them or help them fulfill their dreams or do better than, you know, they did. Like my mom's, I know me and my brother got to do a bunch of stuff that she never got to do. And, you know, she's still living, and I'm trying to get to a point where I could help her do some things before, you know, she leaves the planet. And my daughter, like, my wife and I have made sure that she's been able to do things that I know I ain't never do growing up. I ain't been sledding, I ain't been sailing, I ain't had no swim lessons like she had, but man, this girl, either she gonna be in the Olympics or she gonna be able to survive the apocalypse. One of them, I ain't worried about her. You know what I'm saying? But it's like my family has demonstrated how to make sure that we take care of the next generation, you know? So for me, I don't think it was really a question. It's just how I was raised. It's just how I was raised.
Yeah, I don't know. In my life, I never had nobody say well, my father-in-law was the first. Well, not the first, but I guess I would say it was been points in times where older men have helped me. And I realized that that's extremely wise. And if I ever looked at an impressive man in my life, they have had strong masculine guardianship and guiding that was able to help them. And they may have been a great man because the older man behind them gave them abundance and limitless wisdom without hate or fade. Like, oh no, you gotta represent me. No, I'm gonna give you the game so you could be the best you, like Jazzo and Jay-Z, right? Jazzo gave Jay-Z everything and said, the world is yours.
Yeah.
And people may not understand that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The world is getting younger, right? And if we don't have the information and knowledge, the people who are getting taught and who can understand it and run with it, nonstop. You know what I'm saying? And it's a very important thing that we do, even if it's not the most sensational conversation in the nation. It's more or less of men having positive builds that hopefully can rub off on somebody else. But the second question, should we focus on learning or should we focus on love? Air being mental, water being the emotions. Air being the most boring, mundane learning activity. Love being the most twerkingest, strip club, dollars raining down, girls having elliptical seizures on the dance floor, stripper pole. I'm talking Lollapalooza. What is... How do you integrate those two energies, if ever? Or do you stay more on the physics engineer side, or do you stay more on the party and bullshit side, or do you try to find the middle road? I'm gonna just leave that to the panel.
Go, Jeff. I'm gonna answer that one last.
I mean, I definitely like. It's definitely the correct answer. I think you would say like in balance, somewhere in the in the middle. But like with all like honesty, like I think for me everything leads with love more so. I think it should. I think it should be that way in a sense. I think somebody like I feel like as though I come from love. I feel like that is what I should always be leading with. And like in everything I do, it should be something that I do out of love. And if I love it, then I'm willing to dive myself into it, all about it. If I don't love it, then I'm really gonna not gonna give myself like that. I'm just gonna get forward with it. Or just not, not give it my attention. So it wouldn't be real. And if I feel like it's not worth my time because I don't care about it, then I'm just gonna. I'm not gonna take it serious. So I'm gonna say like you should find a balance as far as like you want to move forward with something. You should like be diving into it, learning all about it. But I think you should be doing that because you love it. It's like it's your passion, and it's what kind of feeds your soul. So yeah, I'm choosing love first. I just choosing love first always.
Love first. What say you, Prime?
I say, man, I got to a beautiful point in my life when I learned that I love to learn. Like, I almost don't care what I'm learning about, as long as it ain't, hurting folk and all that, right? But even so, I can't say that. I'm a martial artist. I learned how to hurt people real good, but it ain't something I exercise every day. You know what I'm saying? But I learned to love, and I love to learn. And to me, it's like when I realized that I loved learning anything kind of became easy for me. And engineering kind of was on that road too. Like my brother used to say, what would you do if you couldn't fly? And when I ended up getting into the Naval Academy, but I didn't stay because I had asthma after the age of 12. They said I couldn't fly jets, even if I passed all their physical tests. And my brother said he thought I would make a good engineer. I didn't know nothing about engineering at the time. But so then when I went into undergrad, I started off in engineering and just loved it. And in those first few years, I had a cousin named Rodney Fitz, bless his heart. He took his life. He was addicted to crack, couldn't get off of it. And in the process, he ended up not only taking his life, but his wife's life as well, right? But he taught me and my brother a lot. He used to have a carpentry business and used to be in the Marine Corps. And, he was just a good man. He was always about it. And I remember one time we were working out back and he had his table saw and all that. He was making something. And he called me over. He's like, you know what, man? When I'm doing this, it makes my Johnson hard. I said, what? He was like, yeah, man, I love doing this work. I love doing this work so much. I said,
goodness gracious. I didn't know that took a left turn. I did it.
So I took a step back. I was like, that's cool, man. But when he said that to me, it influenced almost everything I did after that, right? Because I was like, man, if I'm not really enjoying myself doing, even at that point, right? Because I can't be doing that in meetings at work, dude. Talk to the captain like, well, sir.
This just took a turn for the worse.
The calculations to the north and to the west. Officer Martin, you want to tell me something? No, I'm just in love with what's going on.
I like what I'm doing.
Keep going, I guess. You can finish, I guess. I mean, tell me the rest of the schematic, I guess.
How about you take the work home for the day?
Is that going to go away at all?
Take the work home for the day, okay? Yeah. You got the day off.
Yeah, we're gonna work
You're dismissed.
Goodness gracious.
But ever since I said that, man, I said, you know what? Nothing I don't want to do. And slowly I've eliminated doing things in my life that I didn't love at that point. And I don't regret it. I've been where I work. I love the work I do, and I've been there it'll be 20 years in November, and it feels like 5. It feels like 5 because it's just going by me because I love what I do. You know? But yeah, man.
So remember earlier in the pregame, I said you going into work with the condom. You really do be going into work with a condom.
But I don't take it that far, Hood. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I mean, you might as well.
You don't want to splurge while you at work.
I don't take it that far, man. If I feel myself getting too excited, I'll leave the room.
How much do you love work? Like, do you love work enough that it gets you hard? Or if you ain't hard at work, then you just don't love your job.
Why you think they call it hard at work?
Hard at work. At work.
See, that's a metaphysical definition.
We down the rabbit hole. We in the rabbit hole right now. Hard at work. I'm changing the title of this episode to Hard at Work.
Hard at work. If I was gonna say, learning or loving, I don't believe. As a matter of fact, I know the only way to retain the thing that I really want is for me to love what it is that I'm doing. So the combination of the two has always been where it was at for me. So I love information. I love to dissect information. I love to accumulate information. I love to search for information. And the way I have ultimately come to be able to process information is just part of my shtick, so to speak. So learning is the narrow path, right? Combining both of those things and setting out on whatever it is that it is that I want to learn. You know what I'm saying? I don't think, as a matter of fact, I know there is no possible way for me to be able to devour the information and for me to be able to translate it to others and for me to be able to evolutionize that thing, so to speak, is the only way for me to do it is if I love it. So I love the idea of information and being able to accumulate information. I love the idea of being able to learn something that I have absolutely no idea about. And I love connecting dots. So anything that I set out on learning, if I didn't eventually come to love what I was doing, then I really didn't care about it. I probably forgot about it before I was even done, learning the thing. So I absolutely love the idea of learning, and that's where it's at for me, combining both of those things and putting both of those things together, because I wholeheartedly know that if you don't love the thing that you are doing, then you're not going to do that thing to your fullest capabilities.
Yeah.
I'm really trying to, like, this week, man, y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm like, man, I should really start an OnlyFans. Like,
Snickers in effect. Snickers in effect.
I'm driving.
You already started. You got your shirt open. You ain't got no white beater on. I'm trying to figure this out right now. I know your nipples is like right below that thing right there. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to figure this out. Is he auditioning right now? I think that nigga is secretly auditioning right now.
I'm thinking
he got like 12 Johns in the chat. He got like 12 Johns in the chat. All of them different signs. You know what I'm saying? They all just like, yeah, daddy.
She's on the corner.
They daddy in the chat right now.
I'm thinking, like, I think if I just said fuck everything educational and I just did full love, sex, energy, then I would be taken care of. I'd be taken care of. And I just say fuck this consciousness and fuck the learning. Right?
No homo. You got a young chest too. No homo.
I don't even know what that means.
Yo, the homie Woo was like, you ain't got no hair on your chest. You got a young chest.
I do. I'm not about to do no close up. I'm not about to do no close up or no shit like that either. It's just smooth. Like, damn. I'm literally. This is not even a flex. I'm just coming in from Dave and Buster's, and I got like mad milk stains on this shirt because I was picking up the baby, so I had to
That's right.
cover up my stains, nigga. I ain't trying to show off.
Yo,
You're wrong.
yo,
This is some real ass shit.
I am so feeling awkward right now.
You made it awkward.
I gotta stop looking at the chat because Wu brought that up. He put it in my consciousness right now. I gotta stop looking at the chat.
That's y'all looking too close into stuff now, and I'm not about to be like, "Hey, yeah, I do got hair on my chest." What are you talking about?
That's all of our fault because all of us got good computers right now, and I see a little bit too good right now.
Man,
like I wish I was on the highway behind you,
man. Hey, in the loop, going to a different dimension.
To the Stargate.
Walk through the
we
damn
already there.
Stargate.
Listen, Prime talking about his dick getting hard when he learned. Like we already there. It's over. It's over. We already there.
We
It's
gonna have
too
to
late.
cancel this
Can't go back now.
episode.
We in the fifth element right now. We can't go back.
We're canceling this episode. We're canceling this shit, and we're gonna come back again tomorrow with different
This is turned into an OnlyFans commercial. This is an OnlyFans commercial.
Don't we have 2 more questions?
We do.
I can't tell.
We do. Okay. So I'm about to do a plug, and this is a shameless plug. But I did a course for Nadia Shaw over the week. Yesterday. Chakra astrology. And one of the things that one of the major keys about the course, one of the things that I tried to convey to the people in the course is that everything that you see externally is something that has to do with you internally. But we have a hard time of finding ourselves in the reality that we see. We imagine that what we see is separate from us, as if somebody else can have security clearances and badges and say, I'm Mr. Martin. I'm the engineer for this thing. Can't nobody do that but you. Can't nobody go into your desk, sit at your desk and say, it's comfortable here, meaning that your life is programmed and detailed just for you. Can't nobody get into your car. Can't nobody walk into your house. And if they do, it's a serious offense, right? So in reference to you being yourself and seeing yourself in the world, my thing is, for black men, I'm challenging you because I've done this for myself. What do you want to be in the world? You know, what do you want? And then once you figure out what you want, how can we have... So this is what men do. They say, I got it. Right? They don't have shit, but they gotta have it already. You could be... You ever heard a man say, man, I'm struggling with my rent? Never. You ever heard a man say, man, I'm behind in my car note? Never. Just, what happened to your car? Oh, man, I ain't want that motherfucker. Man, no, the repo man came, took your shit because you couldn't afford that motherfucker. But you don't have the balls to say, man, I'm struggling with managing my money and things of that nature. So, with all of that being said, we can be as successful. We could be I know for a fact that you can manifest and do whatever you want to do. You just have to say it and be persistent in it. But if you separate from that understanding, you feel like you need this or that and the third, or you don't have this, that, and the third. My question to y'all is, do y'all really internalize that you in the world and you in the earth are one thing? Or are you separate? It's just you being this black man in the earth, not understanding that you are sovereign in its connection. Like when you say the earth, you also say you too. And however great the earth is speaking to your greatness. But do we see ourselves as one with the earth or not?
I think it's one of those things that's hard. And then it can be easy at the same time. Not that hard. Not that, no.
Hard at work? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Sorry.
What are we doing?
See, I didn't, you know what?
Sorry. I'm sorry, man.
It's one of those things that could be difficult. Okay, it could be trying.
He was learning.
Okay.
He's over here busy learning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But at the same time, I think it's one of those things that you have to constantly remind yourself of, sort of like when you contemplate your higher self, right?
Yes.
I think it's very easy to get caught up in the mundane humanity of existence
Yeah.
and then forget that you are one with the all, right? So recognizing and reminding yourself, of course, this is spiritual, mental, physical, this is all awareness, right? That thing is it has to be a constant reminder in the front of your mind, the side of your mind, the back of your mind, and within everything that you do, because you could absolutely approach a thing and say, yeah, I need this, that, and the third and the other thing in order for me to be able to complete this thing. And then you get all of those things that you say you need, and then you still are nowhere near closer to completing that actual thing. And I think it also has a lot to do with being able to swallow your foolish idea of pride and ask for help, right? This is not going to be done by yourself, right? You can get to self and accomplish that thing of realizing what self is, right? But are you going to be able to accomplish the thing that you really want to accomplish on your own, right? The people that tell you that they accomplished that thing on their own, they're liars, right? So understanding that you have a plethora of options and a plethora of people at your disposal that you can lean on, that you can call, that you can text, that you can talk to, that you can ask for a different perspective from, and understanding that these people are just extensions of yourself anyway. They might be able to see a thing that you're not looking at, right? How many times have you looked at a thing and not seen what that thing actually is? And it took a different set of eyes for you to actually be able to understand and comprehend that thing that you're actually looking at. So I say all of that to say that it can be difficult if you make it difficult, if you tell yourself that you have to do it by yourself. And I always have to constantly remind myself that I'm not alone and I don't have to do it by myself and I couldn't possibly be alone. But it is a reoccurring theme for a lot of us, and especially for myself, to have to continuously remind yourself that you are one with the all. And being connected to source and realizing and recognizing when you're connected to source, you know, that allows you to understand that every other person that you come in contact with, whether you want to or not, is just an extension of you anyway. And there is something there for you with all of these individuals. You just have to acknowledge it and you have to be aware of
it. Yeah. I think like whenever like I used to, I guess, make decisions on like what I was gonna do. Like I always had expectations. Like I had expectations. I said I was gonna do something, and I expected a certain outcome from that, and when that outcome, like whatever outcome occurred, like I always felt like in those moments I thought like I made that happen because of what I did. And like it comes to find out like that's really just like moving through ego, living out of your ego, thinking like you're the one that's making everything happen. Yeah, you can like kind of set your life up in a certain way, but it's you're only making things happen through kind of like through others, through who through everyone. And it's like I've just gotten to a point like you just have to like again kind of realize, be grateful for what you have, be grateful for everything around you. Like that's only like, everything works, kind of in unison. You're only like to the original point. You're only one piece to what is everything. You are a part of Earth, and like everything is bigger than you. So it's like you have to be able to make sure you're working with everything to really, that's really what's going on. It's not about you, it's about everything.
Damn.
If you could just wrap your mind around that, everything would be fine.
For me, I've had to experiment. I listen to another shameless plug, and I don't have the book in front of me, but I know y'all think I'm just saying this because we on this platform, but that shadow work class from Columbian Exchange, get it. Okay. Um, for me, I had a block to seeing that I could see myself in the world around me. Um, and that block came from those things that I wasn't willing to accept as my own faults, untruths, or things that I've covered up that I didn't want to share with myself or the world, or that I was hiding from. Um, and the more I had the courage to look at those things and then relax about them, like, okay, all right, chill out. So you're this way or you're that way, you don't like this, you don't like that. Why don't you like it? Is it because of what somebody did to you when you were younger? Okay, work it out, think about it, So doing that shadow work got me to a point of honesty with myself where I could start to laugh at or laugh with and heal some of those places where I didn't shine the light of my consciousness. And as I started to do that, I started seeing more of myself in the world around me and the people around me. And it became easier. Like before, when people would have conversations with me and I would be triggered, I would be sitting all in my feelings like a baby in poo, crying, waiting for a diaper change, right? But now it's like, if somebody says something that I'm triggered, I can accept it and say, okay, yeah, all right, I'm feeling this way for a reason, and start to explore, why am I feeling this way? And what could I do to help the conversation keep rolling in a smooth tone? Can I use some humor? You know what I mean? So when I started learning how to forgive myself, look to those dark places, and I don't mean dark as evil. I'm not saying that, we live in a dichotomy world, but don't take it as good and bad and all that stuff. I'm just saying there are places where you haven't shined the light of your attention, but I haven't, right? So when I look in those places where I was not shining the light of my attention, I can give them some fresh air and maybe a fresh look, some humor, and then I'm no longer triggered by people outside of me saying certain things. It is a reflection of you. It's something that has to be lived. And the only way you're going to live it is if you allow yourself to feel. The only way you are going to allow yourself to feel is if you stop blocking in your feelings because you haven't done the shadow work. So, yeah.
I think that's very big because I've been dealing with that a lot. We're trying to bring about the realization that we are never 100% with our self-talk. We're somewhere way off with our realization, because one of the first things is, I'm alone and don't nobody love you, when your shadow love you the whole entire time. And if I could turn you into that and move you into that realization, you don't need me no more, you don't need nobody no more, because you ain't never alone. But I don't think that, you got to really have other people have that breakthrough, because it's like, I can say that, but it's good that you can understand that for yourself, because it's something that we all have to come to the grips, is that we are not alone. You are a psychic entity. You got hella ancestors. You got a soul. You got all of these things working in your favor. And are you tuned in and tapped into it? And for men specifically, we tuned in to the fattest ass on Instagram. We tuned in to the NBA playoffs. We tuned in to Russell Westbrook, the football game, my car, my money. But then when it comes to the intricacies of your soul, you don't want that much. Right? And that's the problem with our men. We want everything else but ourselves. And we're not okay with being individuals. We have to be like every other man, and that's our issue, right? We comparing ourselves to other men who do not know who they are. So imagine how fucked up you're going to be following after another man who has no knowledge of self. So it's gonna be, having these shadow work conversations that's going to elevate us to levels. But I reworded the question. I was thinking about it, and I ain't gonna say the original question. I'm gonna say the new and improved.
Because the original question
was
hard.
nasty.
It was hard.
It was nasty. Is it okay to tell your long-term partner what you like or don't like, or do you accept them for them? Why or why not? Do you tell a woman, I don't like
nice.
you?
He was real nice.
You see, you like that? You
no,
like that?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't.
It's
I
nasty.
don't. I wanted the trigger question.
Oh, okay.
You did that for prom.
I did.
You did that for prom.
I did that. I
you
did
know
that.
what?
I'm trying to get my face rolled tonight, so I did that.
Your face was gonna get rubbed anyway, so
Yeah.
you need to cut that out.
Yeah, you're right. I'm lying. Well, you called me out on that lie. I don't like that shit, man.
See, the
like
shadow
this
work
is gonna
works.
stop
The
your
shadow-
face rub. Like
the shadow work works. He said that right then and there. That's what I'm talking about right there.
I appreciate the plug to shadow work. However, I would like you to be a little bit more honest, because you're gonna get your face rubbed regardless. Thank
Okay.
you.
Mute. I'm gonna speak blood raw, and why I asked this question, because when we're in long-term relationships, it's going to, if you dealing with another man, I'm now at a disadvantage on, you can give him vital information about me, and you could fall in love with this dude and now not care about me. But how would I knew that was going to happen? Because you was putting yourself out there like that. And we know about biology and chemistry. When those energies and frequencies match up, they match up. Now, if this is what you want to do it. But in reference to a long-term partner, I mean, keep that shit tight, that's what I would tell my wife, you feel me? But I know me saying that is going to be a woman, like, you can't tell a woman that you don't want her out here looking all thoughtalicious and shit like that. You gotta have a girl dress however she want to dress. And so I'm conflicted and confused, and I'm asking y'all, am I wrong for thinking that I would want my woman to really respect me with class and dignity? Or should I just accept her for being a thoughtalicious? Not a... It's a difference. Thoughtalicious is an exotic dancer. A thoughtalicious is just a girl that walk around with her ass cheeks walking around out going to the store.
Yes, if you're not privy to the understanding, a Tata-talicious is a divine whore, and the other one, she's just a whore. Okay, there's levels to this. Okay, no disrespect, but disrespect. I'm just gonna say it. All right, I'm torn because I don't know if I could mess with a porn star. Mm-hmm. Right, I don't know if I could have a legitimate relationship and expect it to truly be one-on-one, and knowing that her emotional and sexual desires lie outside of that relationship, right? So of course there are insecurities that are going to come up. Of course there's shadow work that is going to come up. Of course there are is his shit harder than mine shit that's going to come up. Like you understand? So like, of course, these things are going to come up if the conversation is never had, right? Now, I can respect you for being a person who not only gets off, but truly gets off by being able to please, because I'm a pleaser, right? That's how I love, right? I choose to please. That's how I choose to love, right? So I could reconcile part of that, but there's always going to be a part of me that's going to feel like, is she able to get everything that she needs from me, or does she need both? Right? Is she able to put herself in this situation, or is it coming down to a matter of us negotiating her desires? And we just went through that last week. You can't negotiate another person's desire, right? So if the desire is to be able to be sexual, so-called liberated, that's the new catchphrase word for this year, and be able to do the things that you want to do sexually and still be in a committed relationship with me at the same time, then no, I can't do that. right? You're not going to share. We can't share this, right? Because how am I to expect the integrity of the relationship to actually be something that we both agree upon and both want to have, right? The integrity goes out the window if you need to incorporate someone else or something else in order to make this thing whole, right? The wholeness or the union of this thing has to be this thing. And if that is not this thing, then that's no disrespect to you, but I'm certainly not going to allow you to disrespect me and go anywhere you want to go just because you don't want to explain that you want to go anywhere that you want to go. That's all.
My thing is, how'd you find her? How'd you find her? Right? If when y'all met, that is how she was, it is unreasonable to expect her to change, because we as men would be the first people to say, oh, she's trying to change me. I ain't trying to change. I want my stuff how I want my stuff. So if you find her like that, if that's how y'all started, my opinion is that you get what you get and you don't get upset.
Nah, Slime, we're gonna fight about that after the show. Go ahead.
All right, that's cool. But if you started out with her like that, this ain't no, what's that movie, Pretty Woman? It ain't like that, man. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like that. If you start out like that, then that's what it is. Now, if you start out square and cool, and all of a sudden, you know, things are going awry. Maybe she ain't being satisfied, so she's showing off on Instagram or whatever, or, you know, letting cats slide up in the DM, and, you know, dressing differently with you not around, right? Then that should all lead to some things, and y'all should probably be talking something out. But if you ain't got the wherewithal to talk it out, then, you know, you got to be real and be like, yo, if I can't satisfy you, you know, why are we together?
To answer C, the spiritual goddess, yeah, that would be my problem, but it's gonna be our problem if we together.
But that's the thing, because it's like we should have discourse, but discourse is like a conversation in reference to you understanding how I feel. But have you ever heard in a conversation where you're talking to somebody and they're like, I'm extremely empathetic, I feel what you feel, in reference to understanding why you may feel that way? But it's like, if you say something in reference to how you feel, it's like, well, isn't that your problem? Well, in reference to a long-term partnership, we are a union. Yeah. It's not just meeting somebody on the street. I'm not, like, if you're talking about just random dating shit, do you, fam? Like, don't change nothing about yourself. Keep it a buck 2000. I'm talking about long-term partnerships when you are trying to formulate a legacy with a stranger and you have no interest in how I'm thinking or how I'm feeling or how my emotional energy is triggered or not triggered, in reference to where it's like, okay, men don't change or men don't want to change, and that's highly incorrect. When we find a woman that we want to partner with, we are changing the best of our ability to be a person that we probably know the hell that we're not being.
1000%. Yep. 1000%.
But for love,
she got to be worth it. Yeah.
For love, we will change. Yeah. And I'm just saying, for the younger generation, listen. If you in a long-term relationship, you might because in relationships we get in our minds. Right, in our heads, and we're thinking. Stop thinking. Be like, babe, how you feel about this? You might be surprised, is all I'm saying. You know, that's why I asked the question. But I'm gonna ask another question.
Let Jeff hit that.
I didn't even. My fault. Jeff, hit it from the back. Hit it from the back. Hit it from
working
the back.
hard.
Hit it from the back.
See. Step up to the plate, player. Knock that bitch out the park. Knock it out the park.
Yeah.
We need a triple to bring it home. We need a triple to bring it home.
All right. I try to kind of like, you know, just like be an example of like what I want, what I want, like what I'm looking for, like kind of showcase like this is what I do, and like this is kind of what like I'm willing to accept from like someone else, from a partner, and hold myself to that example, and I hope like I hope like whomever that other person is reflects what it is that I do, and kind of shares that kind of respect that I will hold for it. Like if not, then like like I don't try to get too emotional about it, but like maybe that person just isn't that that one, if they can't kind of reflect the example that I try to showcase. So just being that example, and looking for someone to reflect that example, and if they do, then then that's something that I can work with, and we can like move forward and build off of that. And if not, then just kind of move forward, keep going.
Yep.
It's not easy. It's not easy, but I love this conversation because in reference to just conversations in general, you gain the most when you challenge and you think about things outside of what you're comfortable with. Being a father, being a husband, I realized that I'm not an individual.
Yeah.
I'm a whole different entity, and because of this entity that I am, I have to move and act in a certain type of way. Now, this question is for the men, but it's definitely for the ladies. And stop giving your pussy away to men who don't want to protect you. Okay? Because that's what it's about, right? And a man a gunman might come into your home, and the dude looking at you like, baby, what should we do? And you gonna feel so disgusted knowing that you gave a nigga some pussy that wasn't even gonna think to protect you or hold you down in the space of a violent situation. And I say this to say, as the world evolves into 2021, into 2022, into 2023, you know what the world is going to continue to do? Get worse and worse and worse and worse. It's not getting no better, fam. It's not sticking up. It's entropying out. And I'm not trying to scare you, but if you're going to connect with men, make sure you with healthy minded men that are willing to stand on the front line to protect you. And trust me, this is something that I'm maturing into, and I'm actually putting this to the panel for advice. And how should men protect their family? What are some advice that y'all would give in reference to that?
First thing for me would be awareness. Like I need my partner. I would have to say that my partner needs to be aware of what a man is capable of and what a man is willing to do and what people are willing to do. Because, people like to sometimes act like evil doesn't exist, and trifling people are not out there, and everybody got their best interests at heart. So the reality of it is that same dude that made you feel so good probably could really care less about protecting you, right? Especially if he getting the buns early, right?
If he got the buns,
especially if he got the buns with no discernment, with
Cinnabons,
no checkmates, with no
with nothing, the frosting.
He just got the buns, right? What is his inclination to feel like he needs to protect you? He already got it, right? So the reality is a reminder to the family to be aware that everybody doesn't have your best interests at heart. That just because somebody talks nice to you and tells you that tells you that you're beautiful, they really could care less about you on the back end, right? So if we want to be blood raw about this thing, let's be blood raw about this thing. Dudes are idiots after they nut, right? they're idiots.
Yeah.
Okay, right after it comes out, you're an idiot. Okay, so unless that is your partner, unless that is someone that is in a committed union with you, that really wants to be with you, that completely wants to be with you, then his wholehearted understanding is about making sure that you are protected, making sure that you are safe, making sure that you know how to protect yourself in case of an event that I am not around.
Yep.
That is number one. Okay, because dudes get the buns and forget about everything else.
Get the buns and run.
Get the buns and run.
Yeah.
So awareness is that thing. So he might make you feel really, really good. But if that dude ain't got no tactical understanding for what life is like and what dudes in the streets is really doing out here, when you go to the club with your girlfriends and them, what's really going to happen, what's really going to go down, what could possibly happen if I'm working late or if I'm out of town, like you need to be aware. And I want her to be aware. I want her to know how to use a gun. I want her to know how to protect herself. I want her to know how to protect the children, because my idea is longevity within this union, right? It is evolving within this union together. And the only way we do that is if we are both protected. And me being protected is me being able to let you know how to protect yourself.
Word.
1,000%. 1,000.
Yeah. So I think it kind of goes back to like the point of knowing like you're not alone. Like me, I've like always kind of utilized, whether it's like my family, my community, my friends or whatever, as a means of like, and another point to what Ross said about awareness, like knowing what's going on. Like, I mean, just for example, like I have like, a younger sister. So like, going to school with her, like people would come up to me, like let me know like what my younger sister was and who she was talking to, like what's going on. Like I like know like, all right, she talking to them, that's cool. Or she talking to them, I don't like that. Like step in and let's figure something out. And like that's something like you utilize, like when you're in relationships, like with any woman too, like just like knowing how to communicate, with her, but also like with just like with anyone, to make sure like what's going on and like what steps you need to take to make sure things are being taken care of. Yeah, so all of that, just like being aware, like knowing that like you are, it's not just you, it's like other people around you, that are here to, you can utilize them however need be. They can be kind of part of your downfall, or they can be supportive and utilize them to help you out, and do the same for them. So I like to utilize the folk around me for protection, like knowing what's going on, and just like seeing how we can help and support each other. Yeah.
Word. I would say security starts before the incident. It starts before something happens. And I think one of the best ways for you to be secure and your family to be secure wherever you're living is to be a respectable person in your neighborhood. Like if you walking around sticking fools up, your place ain't safe. If you being disrespectful to folk for no reason, they ain't deserving it, then your place ain't safe. If you going around cursing people, talking about people all the time behind their back, and the whole damn neighborhood know it, even the people you think you talking about behind their back, your place ain't safe, right? You gotta be a certain way in your community, like Jeff said, for people to come up to you and say, hey, I saw your little sister, or I saw so and so, they was talking to Ray Ray down the street, make sure she all right. No disrespect, Ray Ray, if you listening, I know you cool. I'm talking about the other Ray Ray. Right.
Somebody said Ray. I heard somebody say Ray. Little Ray and them.
Little Ray and them. That's right. but it's like, your respect starts way before the fight ever happens. So number one, if you're an upstanding citizen in your community, and you ain't got to be highly educated and rich to be that, all you have to be is respectful of people in your community. If people know, oh, I saw that dude at the market, he was giving out readings and stuff, yeah, that's cool, but if people looking at you like, yeah, wasn't that the one in that stocking mask that robbed your sister, your house ain't safe. Right. So phase one is avoid the fight altogether by being a pillar in your community. And phase two, you never know who the hell living by you. I had a meth head living by me. He was a nurse. He was a nurse at a local hospital.
We're overtime.
Dude, but when he started out, he was legit, right? But after a certain while, meth heads can't hide that they on meth. And my boy was like tweaking hard, right? So I told my wife, I was like, don't talk to him. I said, when you come in the evening, if he out there, just keep walking and don't even engage him in conversation, right? And then one day, sure enough, we found out he was arrested because he was like stealing stuff, and they caught him at the hospital stealing supplies to make his meth, right? But dude was tweaking so hard. One night we came home, he was like, I was making some noise the other night, and I was just wondering, man, was that y'all that called the police on me? And I said, nah. I said, I don't know who called the cops on you, and I don't even know what you're talking about. We ain't hear you. Oh, okay. And I told my wife, I was like, don't, matter of fact, just don't interact with him at all. And because you never know who you buy. He did the Pookie hardcore, man. But I never engaged him in conversation to the point where he felt comfortable like coming onto my stairs or anything like that. We always talked from like at the property line, right? Mm-hmm. And I never, invited him, so to speak, onto my porch. So phase one is be upstanding. Phase two, don't let nobody in your damn space that ain't supposed to be in your space. If you don't know them, if they ain't your family, if they ain't your close friends, it should be all about the business. If they coming up in there, they either fixing your house, cutting your grass, something, but if they up in your space and you don't know them like that, that's just inviting danger. Phase three, learn how to do something. Like I taught my daughter when she was younger how to hide, right? Like little kid. I was like, all right, baby, I caught you because I could hear you laughing, and she got to the point now where she can hide, she can be quiet, and she can be still, and I don't know where she at. And we ain't got a lot of hiding places in the house. So I know if there's ever some danger, if she needs to, she can do that, right? But I also taught her like, basic self-defense. Like if I'm trying to smack her, we can't even go out. We were at a concert outside and I'm trying to get some crust off her face. Like she was eating something and it got in her face. I'm trying to reach out to her eyebrow. She's like smacking my hand away. I'm like, baby, please stop smacking my hand away. I'm just trying to get the crumbs off. I'm like, dang it.
She always in battle mode.
Exactly. So every once in a while she'll put it down, but you gotta teach them. And I told my wife, I said, if somebody come up in the house and you don't want to use this or that, if you want to use the cutlery, don't grab the long sword because that'll stick in the ceiling. Grab the short dagger that's over there. Yeah, I'm just saying, you got to be prepared, and you have to have the conversations, and you got to train. And if you ain't gonna train, you got to have alternatives. Have a second exit. That's one good thing about shotgun houses.
This is mind blowing to the people who's just been getting ramshackled in the Hucklebuck for the past 2 years from a man who wouldn't piss on a paper bag if it was wet to push them through a traumatic situation. So this is so like mind blowing, like earth shattering conversations in reference to. I tell you, true love is protection more than it is. And I tell you, you could go through a lot of shit in relationships. Like, you can be tormented by, like, violence or a violent act. And you're like, damn, I don't want nothing bad to happen to me or my family.
Yep.
But Spirit says, or the Ogun said, we send you those messages so you can get the fuck up off your ass and train.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And once you tap into those messages, we take it away from you, because we're not trying to scare you or torment you, but in reference to love, the most important thing is to protect the things that you love. Now, if like, imagine having a car and saying everybody can just drive my car on the block. You know where the keys is at. Hop in and go. You got keys. You lock your car door, meaning that there's protection systems for your vehicle. A car, how many cars you done had? 10, 20 cars? You get one wife. You get one family. And if you can protect your car, you don't got the mindset or the plan to protect your family, you fucking up. You thinking about the money. You thinking about how she treat you, how she look. No, your responsibility as a man is to stand up in your protection energy. And spiritual motherfuckers not gonna tell you this. They gonna tell you, oh, she's this, or oh, he's that, and how much money he make. I'm talking about if y'all two can stand in the same square together and say, I got the north, you got the south, I got the west, and you got the east. That's what it's about out here, family. That's what it's about. And I just wanted to share that with y'all. But y'all got some parting shots. We've been chopping it up for about a good hour and a half.
Man, I ain't got nothing else to add to this. I think this was an incredible bill. And I told you, Hood, ever since that shadow class, I'm scared of what's going to come out my mouth. So I'm good, man. Good night. Work hard.
Oh, no. Hard at work. Once it came to work,
I know.
Peter. Hey, if I can't come to work and I ain't never been so engaged in work that I just thought, man, I'm horny right now.
Exactly.
That's a deeper level of work,
wild,
man.
man.
That's deep. Like, I gotta find. I need to figure out my purpose in life, Prime. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do out here.
Like I said, man, I love engineering, man. That's all I could say. That's all I'm gonna say. Good night.
Jeff, some parting words.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think another good show, good session. Again, appreciate the space. Yeah, and I just like I people sometimes like expect to like just because like I'm one way on the show don't mean like I'm always like that way in person. I'm person, like